Hello fiends and collectors, this is me, Daniel East 1000, back again with another Star Wars Black Series figure review. Today we're going to be having a look at a pair of hotly anticipated figures. I know, once again, I'm saying that word because they are. Hasbro are putting out some absolute bangers this year, and these two are no exception to that. These are highly anticipated figures. So today we're going to be taking a look at none other than Shaak Ti and Luminara Unduli. First, per usual, before we take a look at the figures, we're going to take a look at the packaging, which is pretty standard stuff at this point. Star Wars Black Series at the top there. That lovely window where you can see the figures and the accessories. They're also really brought to life, made to pop with that backdrop. So you've got a background image for both of those that are kind of blended in to that colour palette of the colour banding just at the bottom there with the name of the media. We've also got the name of the characters on the side. Bit of legalese at the bottom there on the side. Not much really going on other than Star Wars Black Series and that colour banding going around. On the other side, you've got two lovely pictures of the characters just there. Very, very nice. Shaak Ti and Luminara Unduli name tabs just at the bottom with that colour banding fading off into the images. Then on the very back, you've got lovely images once again, Star Wars Black Series, a bit of a bio on the characters, number of the character on that colour banding, as well as the name and media they appear in. Ton of legalese that we come to know and love at the bottom there and at the bottom there as well. And that is the packaging out the way and done with. So without further ado, let's take a look at the figures themselves.
Master Windu, how pleasant of you to join us.
This party's over.
Brave, but foolish, my old Jedi friend.
So here we have the figures in hand, and I have to say both of these look absolutely fantastic. It's really cool to see Hasbro delving into the Jedi Knight ranks and providing them for us. We've had Kit Fisto and Plo Koon, Aayla Secura, more recently Ki-Adi-Mundi, of whom I have reviewed. So finally we get some more female Jedi, of which personally I'm here for. So we've got Shaak Ti and Luminara Unduli. We'll take a look at Luminara first. As always, just taking a look at that head sculpt. I think that's a really good likeness to the actress. Luminara is a character that I really did enjoy in the Clone Wars. We got to see a lot more of her from that series, and she's one of my favourite Jedi from that. She has a very calm and patient demeanour. To be honest, something I'd really love for Hasbro to do would be her Padawan Barriss Offee, who is another interesting character as well. But just looking at Luminara, that head sculpt is really, really nice. I love that we're getting more aliens in the line as well. Something I've been particularly clamouring for. The whole sculpt of this figure is wonderful. I love the headdress. It is this hard plastic, isn't removable, it is just a solid piece of plastic that's sculpted onto the head. That's fine, she doesn't really need a removable headpiece. But then the rest of the robes are in this soft material, which works really, really lovely. Got these sculpted sleeves as well, which are really nice, so they don't hinder articulation. Bands on her wrists are very, very nice. I love the ornate look of Luminara. If we just move her arms out of the way, in terms of the torso, she's got this interesting necklace or pennant kind of thing going on. Not really too much going on with the torso in terms of sculpting or paint, but you know, it does the job. Just looking at that tabard just here, I love the sculpting and paintwork on that. That really does bring the figure to life so, so much. It's a real eye-catching piece. Hasbro didn't have to go too hard on that, in my opinion, but they've really, really captured that so wonderfully. You know, the amount of different paints, you've got some golds, coppers, just looks absolutely fantastic. You've got the skirts here, of which, if we, not to be too crude, lift up, we can take a look at the legs, of which are reuse from Aayla Secura. I don't mind reuse. I would prefer it if it was a completely new sculpt, but in a situation like this where you're not really going to see the legs and it's going to be hidden underneath that soft goods skirt, absolutely fine with. It makes perfect sense to do reuse on a figure like this, mainly in the leg sense. But she just looks absolutely wonderful. Again, love the soft goods. They are quite basic, but they're extremely effective. And I mean, I really like the fact as well that they're two different pieces of material and fabric, which just separates the costume just wonderfully. Of course, you've got the black for the skirt and the purple for the rest of the outfit. So yeah, just really, really lovely. In terms of her accessories, all she comes with is the lightsaber hilt and blade, of which is detachable. Unfortunately though, there is no real place to store the lightsaber on the belt. There's no peg on the saber nor hole to fit that onto, which is a bit of a shame. But if you did want to have just a neutral pose of her holding the hilt, you can do that. But I think most people are going to have her with the lightsaber drawn like so. Overall, just a really, really lovely figure. I can't really think of any other accessories they could have included with her, particularly as this is depicting her from the films. She's very much a background character in those, let's be honest. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine. She looks absolutely stunning, and Hasbro's done a wonderful job on her. So if we just move on to Shaak Ti, oh my god, this one is probably one of the more intricate of the two in terms of a head sculpt perspective. You've of course got her Taruga Leku, of which have been painted extremely nicely with that blue, and you've got the white underneath there. Of course, that extends to the back. Of course, does hinder articulation a little bit, but there is a nice amount of pliability there, so it doesn't hinder articulation too much. But just look at that head sculpt. The amount of paint and detailing they've put into that looks absolutely incredible. You've got the lips, which have been really nicely painted. She's got that very stern looking face. And then coming down, of course, you've got these soft good robes, which look absolutely lovely. We just move her arms out of the way a little bit. She's got this kind of scarf as well, which feels like a independent piece. The torso, not really much going on there. Again, it's fine, it's detailed enough. And then coming to the tabard, just wonderful sculpting and paint. It suits the character and how she looks, just absolutely fantastic. And again, the material they've used for the cloak and the skirt are very different. And if we just lift that skirt up, not to be crude again, but just so you can get a look at that, she does utilise Aayla Secura's legs again, same as Luminara, but that's not a problem because you're not going to see that. You're going to have it hidden underneath the skirt. It serves the purpose that you need for this figure. This just looks absolutely awesome. I can't wait to get it on shelf displayed with all my other Jedi, and likewise with, you know, Luminara as well. And if I'm going to be cheeky, Hasbro can just do easy reuse with this one to make another version of Shaak Ti that would fit very nicely on my Force Unleashed shelf. So Hasbro, if you're watching, please just do a retool of this body-wise. Give us Force Unleashed Shaak Ti, because that would be fantastic. You know, we need Starkiller to hunt down some Jedi, and Shaak Ti in that costume is, yeah, just an idea there, Hasbro. I'd sooner have some more knights like Ram Kota, Karsden Paratus, and, well, non-Jedi Juno Eclipse just to inhabit that Force Unleashed off. But I digress. This is an absolutely beautiful figure. Again, in terms of her accessories, she comes with the lightsaber hilt and blade. You can remove the blade, and actually in this instance, she does have a peg on the hilt, of which does tab into a hole just on the belt there. So you can have it in a vanilla posing with it just clipped on to that, if I can get it to work. So there you go. You can do that. You can have it clipped onto the belt like so. So yeah, I mean, in terms of articulation with both these figures, they are pretty much the same. So if we just go through that with Shaak Ti, she has a ball joint in the head and a ball joint in the neck. Like with both these figures, because they've got some intricacies with the heads, particularly Shaak Ti and Luminara's headgear or headdress, you can't really pose it too much. You can pose it just well enough, but there's a bit of limitedness with both of them, probably more so on Shaak Ti than on Luminara. They have butterfly joints in the shoulders, of which is great for motion in getting them to hold the lightsaber in that, you know, gripped double-handed pose. You've got ball-jointed shoulders, ball-jointed elbows, ball-jointed wrists, ball-jointed torso, ball-jointed hips, swivels at the tops of the thighs, double-hinged knees, swivels at the tops of the boots, and ball jointed ankles with the rocker joints. That's all the articulation that you could possibly want with either of these. Overall, I am blown away with both these figures. The sculpting and attention to detail that Hasbro's put into them is just on another level. Very long overdue, but I'm glad that Hasbro's taken the time with these ones to make them as good as they can possibly make them. These are going to sit amongst your Jedi Knight ranks extremely well, and if you are a prequel fan, these are absolutely must-haves. As I've stipulated throughout the review, I can't wait to see what other Jedi they do in the years to come. Certainly loving the prequel love at the moment, and long may it reign for sure. I honestly can't think of much else of what to say to these guys, as they're just wonderful, wonderful figures. So yeah, that pretty much does it for my review. I can't think of anything else to add to that. They're just very, very good. Let me know what you guys think though in the comments down below. Have you picked these up? Are you considering it? Sound off down below. And well, this is me, Daniel East 1000, signing out, and thank you very much for watching.